So good day everyone, we are the group 3 and we're going to present the transportation law in the Philippines. Specifically the laws regulating transportation service providers. So before tayo mag-proceed, let's identify what are the learning objectives. So after the completion of the chapter, students should be able to first, enumerate the regulatory framework that governs the transportation business. Second, identify the elements of common carrier. Third, recognize the regulations of transportation business. And fourth, develop and update local knowledge on laws regulating transportation service providers. So, next slide. So, una muna ay i-define natin kung ano ba ang transportation. So, transportation is one whereby a certain person or associations of person obligate themselves to transport persons, things, or news from one place to another. So, pag sinabing transportation, ito yung action or process of transporting pwedeng people, things, or goods from one place to another. So this transporting, it can be done by a person or different group or associations of people. And these people, they obligate themselves or they agree to move or to transport persons, things, or goods from one place to another. So in transporting, hindi lang enjoyment or convenience ang kanilang ibinibigay or kino-consider sa pag-transport ng mga tao or bagay. They also consider the safety ng mga persons na ito or ng mga passengers na ito or mga goods. They always make sure na pagpasok pa lang ng mga ito or ng mga bagay or ng mga tao ito sa kanilang sasakyan, they make sure na hanggang sa destination na pupuntahan ito ay safe ito at walang damage. And another definition is, transportation is the main mean to carry passengers, that is the tourist to the actual site where tourism services are performed. So, ang transportation, when it comes to tourism industry, ito yung main mean to carry passengers. Kumbaga, ito yung ang transportation ng nagdadala ng mga passengers doon sa mga tourist destinations or tourist sites, wherein doon nila ginagawa or pina-perform or ina-enjoy ang iba't ibang tourism activities. For example, if a person or if you want to go to a beach, syempre you need way how to get there. Pwede siyang by plane, by train, by bus, by jeep, by van, or by ship or barko, diba? And also yung advancement of transportation, it also boosts the development of tourism industry. Like the construction of highways, syempre yung paggawa ng mga roads, bridges, highways, airports, and train networks, mas madali na lang para sa mga travelers or tourists na ma-access or makapunta doon sa destination na kanilang gustong puntahan. Also, mas efficient and mas convenient ang kanilang traveling and they have more time to enjoy their destination. Then, also yung innovations in transportation also helps the tourists to enjoy their traveling. For example, yung paggawa ng Google Maps, kumbaga yung Google Maps, it helps the tourists to locate destinations na hindi sila familiar. Also, yung paggamit ng mga electronic vehicles, it promotes sustainable tourism since nire-reduce nito yung mga carbon footprints or pollution na nilalabas ng mga usual na transportation, diba? Then, next is yung infrastructure ng mga like what I said kanina, mga roads and bridges, it create job opportunities sa mga people, like sa mga construction workers, sa mga engineers, architects. Also, it establish buildings since doon sa bagong way or daan na ginawa is marami ng tourists ang dumadaan doon, kaya marami na ring mga business ang pwedeng mag-open up ng mga kanilang business, like mga souvenir shops, department shops. Ayan. The next slide, Transport industry gained a vital place in the global network system and is one of the most important components of the tourism infrastructure. So, ang transport industry, important siya sa global network system because kinoconnect nito lahat ng places and people around the world. For example, in places, pwedeng city to city, region to region, or country to another country. And it also connects all the people around the world. Also, yung movement ng mga goods and ng mga tao sa mundo ay mas pinapadali nito yung flow. Also, ang transportation industry, mahalaga siya sa tourism industry because kasi nga, ang tourism is about traveling. So, need natin ng transportation para makapag-travel or makapunta tayo sa ibang destination or sa destination na gusto nating puntahan. Also, kaya rin important ang transportation sa tourism because according to the studies, it showed that almost 30 to 40% of total expenditure of the travelers ay napupunta sa transportation. So, halos kalahati ng kanilang gastos ay naka-allocate sa transportation expenses. And the rest is sa accommodation na, foods, and other activities. So, ang next slide. Ang transportation, it has different mode of transport. We have the air transport, land transport, and water transport. And sa land transport, meron tayong dalawang forms, the roads and the railways. Una nating mode of transport is the air transportation. So, ito yung pangalawa sa pinaka-popular or pinaka-ginagamit ng mga travelers natin na transportation kapag pupunta sa isang destination. Since ito yung pinaka mabilis na way or transportation para mapuntahan yung napakalayong destinations. Itong air transport, syempre dumadaan ito sa himpapawid, and ang example nito is yung mga airplanes. And since mas mabilis ang transportation na ito, syempre, mas mahal ito compared sa other transportation. Then, next is the land transport. So, the transport of or movement of people, animals, or goods from one location to another location through land. So, ang land transportation, ito yung mga transportation na dumadaan sa mga highway, sa mga roads. And for example, sa mga transportation na to is mga jeep, bus, mga van, motor, ayan. And yung land transportation, it has two main forms of land transport. Ang una is ang rail transport and road transport. So, ang rail transport, ito yung dinadaanan ng mga trains lang or LRT or MRT. So, sila lang or itong mga transit lang ang pwedeng dumaan doon since ang daanan nito ay merong railway tracks. And next is the road transport. Ito naman yung mga land or highways or roads na dinadaanan ng mga transits like jeeps, ayan, van. Then next is the water transportation. It also known as maritime transport, which involves the movement of people and goods by waterways such as oceans, seas, rivers, and canals. It is essential for international trading. So, ang water transport, syempre, itong transportation na to is dumadaan ito sa mga oceans, seas, rivers, and canal. So, examples nito is yung mga barko, ayan. And then, ang barko, ginagamit din naman siya sa traveling. Pero kasi kapag sa traveling, syempre, mas matagal yung traveling kapag sa barko. It takes days, unlike pag sa airplanes, di ba? Mas mabilis. And, ang water transport, mostly siyang ginagamit for tradings or international tradings. The next slide is common forms of transportation. So, Pag sinabi nating transportation, so ang unang pumapasok sa isip natin yung mga vehicles na katulad ng cars, trucks, and motorcycles. But meron pa tayong iba pang mode of transit like helicopters, bus, van, tapos mga ships, ayan, tapos mga submarine, tapos yung mga bago ngayon, mga electronic jeep, mga electronic vehicles, mga electronic motors, e-bike. Ayan. Yung mga yan, yung mga transportation na yan, merong laws na nag-govern sa mga transportation na yan para ma-ensure natin yung safety habang tayo ay nagta-travel. Like sa regulation ng mga mode of transit, as a driver, syempre kailangan natin ng mga license para ma-make sure na marunong talaga tayong gumamit ng mga transportation na yon. Also, yung mga infrastructures na dinadaanan ng mga transportation, meron din mga laws na nag-govern dito. Syempre, sa mga roads and bridges na dinadaanan ng mga vehicles, kailangan merong mga road signs and mga traffic signals na madaling makita ng mga magdadrive ng transportation.
What is transportation law? Transportation law is the body of law that governs transportation infrastructure and its use. It regulates the way that people travel using any method of transportation including railways, air travel, vehicular travel, and even waterways. So, ang transportation law ay batas na kumokontrol or nagmamanage ng paraan ng paglalakbay ng tao gamit na anumang uri ng transportation like kung sa land, jeepney, tricycle, bus, kung sa himpapawid naman, airplane, tapos gumagamit din sila ng railways, mga tren, MRT, LRT, and any vehicular travel, and even waterways. So, transportation law covers most aspects of travel and commerce on the streets and highways, in the air or on the water, including regulation of vehicles and vessels. So, namamahala din ito sa iba't iba pang paraan ng transportasyon sa Pilipinas, mapakalsada man daw or air travel, at maging sa mga barko na naglalagay, sakop din ng transportation law. Then, sa travel and commerce sa water, kabilang din dito yung regulation of vehicle and vessels, pati pag-implementa nila ng safety standards and oversight of shipping activities. So, yung Department of Transportation or DOT, it is an executive department of the Philippine government na responsible for the maintenance and expansion of viable, efficient, and dependable transportation system. Bale, ginagamit siya ng ating gobyerno para mapaunlad or ma-improve pa yung transportation system sa ating bansa. Bukod doon, responsible din yung DOT sa land, air, and sea communication. Yan. Transportation may be classified into number 1, common carriers. It is defined as one holding itself out to the public as engaged in the transportation of freight or passenger for hire. It is one who is in the business of transporting goods or persons for hire as a public utility. So, meaning ang common carrier is a person or a commercial enterprise that transport passenger or goods for a fee. Ibig sabihin, may bayad. It also establishes that their service is open to the general public. Meaning, pang-public siya, pang-publiko siya, yung serbisyo na meron sila. Ang typical example ng common carriers include a ship owner, railroad, airline, taxi service, and etc. Then, ang pangalawa naman is the private carrier. So, sa private carrier naman, in contrast, is not in the business of transporting public employment but hires out to deliver goods in particular cases. So, public carriers differ from common carriers because they don't establish that their service is open to the general public. Ibig sabihin, private carrier nagkakaroon lang sila ng service kapag meron silang kontrata sa customer. Nagkakaroon lang sila ng, kumbaga, kita or responsibility, ganun. Ang kagaya ng trucks, ganun. At yun yung pinaka-common na example ng private carriers. However, yung ibang rail, ship, and airways, gumagamit na rin sila ng private carriers. Then, transportation law, other information. Ito yung mga iba nating dapat malaman sa transportation law. A contract of transportation is a contract whereby a person, natural or juridical, obligates himself to transport persons or goods or both from one place to another by land, water, or air for a price or compensation. Kapag yung tao, inobligan niya yung sarili niya na mag-transport ng person or property or goods from one place to another, yun na yung tinatawag na contract of transportation. Ito yung pwede kong common carrier ba yung kukuhanin niya or private carrier. Kapag kumuha ka ng carrier, syempre, may bayad ito or may compensation, may kapalit. Then, a contract of transportation is imbued with public interest, and that is the reason why it is considered as public utility. And as a public utility, the state has the power to regulate for it. Yung contract of transportation, isang part siya ng public utility. Dahil doon, yung bansa natin ay may kakayahan na mag-regulate sa mga provider, kagaya ng public welfare and the common good. Then, the Constitution mandates that the investment in public utility must comply with the equity requirement of 60-20 rule. Dapat 60% ay Filipino-owned and 40% naman any nationality or foreign. Yan yung nakalagay sa Constitution.
Charles A. Roncada, and I'm reporting about the transportation law regarding Civil Code of the Philippines RA 386, the primary law that governs common carrier, which implemented in Article 1766 thereof, which states that in all matter not regulated by this code, the right and obligations of common carriers shall be governed by the Code of Commerce and special laws. And regarding for the Civil Code, Article 1732, common carriers are persons, corporation, firms, or association engaged in the business of carrying or transporting passengers or good or both by land, water, and air for compensation, offering their service to the public. And the entities engaged in this business are sole proprietorship, partnership, and cooperation. The best evidence proof of the contract is passenger ticket for passengers and bill of landing at goods. And all common carriers are required to obtain a certificate, a public convenience certificate franchise of authorization, considered a mere privilege and not a property right for them to operate. In case of a negligence of Tourist Act, the liability the common carriers can be enforced either to culpa, contract, breach of contract, culpa Achilleana tort, quasi delict, culpa criminal case, example, physical injuries, and the other carriers is a private carrier. Is it one who, without being engaged to the business of carrying as public employment, undertakes to deliver good or passenger a compensation charter agreement. So, private charter refers to a company that owns the vehicle used to transport its own good. Private carrier does not transport good as its primary business, and thus does not seek to transport the goods of other companies. So it is a private sector or a company that deliver its own good. So in that sense, a private carrier is not for hire carrier and does not carry the goods to other companies at its is primary business that it's going to. So the distinction of the common carrier and the private carrier. First, for the common carrier, obligation to carry, bond to carry all who choose to employ it. Okay, for the private carrier, can choose persons whom it may contract, diligence required, extraordinary diligence, ordinary diligence for the private carrier. And that's all. Next.
Contract of public carriage or transportation. When engaging the services of the common carrier, there is a contract that is established. The contract is called contract of carriage or contract of public transportation. Ibig sabihin, ang contract of public transportation, ito ay kontrata between the passenger at common carrier. Nangyayari ito once na kunyari sumakay lang ako sa isang jeep. Once na nakatapak na ako dun mismo sa bus, sa mismong kung ano mang matatapakan dun sa jeep, meron ng contract between me as a passenger and yung common carrier na jeep na nasakyan ko. So, by contract of carriage, the carrier assumes the express obligation to transport the passenger to his destination safety. Dapat yung jeep na nasakyan ko or bus, safe ako na dadalhin dun sa lugar na pupuntahan ko. Kung may mangyari man sa akin, sila yung sasagot nun. Kunyari magkaroon ng accident or injury na dahilan naman nung driver, sagot ako nun nung kontrata namin. At kung ano man yung mangyari sa akin, na magkasugat man ako, ma-hospitalize man ako, sagot yun ng company or nung mismong driver. Pero yun ay may limitation dahil sa Civil Code Article 1734, common carriers are responsible for the loss, destruction, or deterioration of goods unless the same is due to any of the following causes. Number 1, kapag naman yung reason ay flood, storm, earthquake, lightning, or any other natural disaster or calamity, or yung tinatawag nating acts of God. Yun, kapag kunyari biglang bumagyo or nagkaroon ng kahit na anumang acts of God, hindi ako sagot nung common carrier. Number 2 is act of public enemy in war, whether international or civil. Kapag merong terorista, ganyan, hindi na rin yan sagot. Number 3 is act of omission of the shipper or owner of the goods. Number 4 is the character of the goods or defects in the packaging. Ito naman kapag defect yung product mismo ng shipper mismo, hindi siya sasagutin ng common carrier. Kapag naman product yung gusto natin i-transport. Number 5 is order or act of competent public authority. A contract of transport passenger is quite different in kind and degree from any other contractual relation, and this is because of the relation which an air carrier sustains with the public. It invites people to avail the comfort and advantages it offers. The contract of carriage therefore generates a relation attended with the public duty. So, although the contract of transport passenger is a contractual relation, ibig sabihin, meron ding kontrata between the public and the common carrier. Pero ang kaibahan ng contract of transport passenger ay ang kadalasan dito ay yung mga air carrier or air company like PAL. Ganun. Kapag ganito yung kontrata na ginawa ng air carrier, sila ay more responsible sa kanilang mga passenger. If anything goes wrong, sa kanila yung sisi. Since they give a higher standard, it equates to parang higher responsibility na rin. Dahil nga yung PAL, sila mismo sila mismo na yung nag-i-invite sa tao kung ano ba yung meron sila. Sila na rin yung nagbabrag sa capabilities ng company nila. Kung gaano ba kaganda yung service na kayo nila i-offer from stops and the mismong flight nung PAL. So, kapag merong nangyari sa passenger, the company takes all the blame and lahat ng kung ano man ang mangyari sa passenger, sila rin yung sasagot lahat ng danyos. Parties to the contract of carriage are the following. Namely, number 1 is carrier, the party who agrees to transport. Number 2 is shipper, the party whose goods are transported. Number 3 is passenger, the person object of the transportation. Number 4 is consignee, the person to whom the goods are sent. So, number 1 is shipper. Sila yung mga tao na or company na nag-agree na magdadala or magta-transport nung goods or nung mismong tao kung yun yung kung service ba kayo. And then number 2 is shipper. Sila yung mga owner or yung supplier ng commodities. Sila yung naglagay, bali diba, shipper, sila yung nasa kanila mismo yung product. Sila yung magbibigay sa carrier. Then number 3 is passengers. Sila naman yung mga pasahero, kung sila yung pasahero ng nasa barko or kung nasa bus, nasa kung ano man vehicle. Then number 4 is the consignee. Sila naman yung nakakatanggap kung goods yung pinadala mo. Sila yung pipirma din. Hindi lang yung mismong shipper.
Next topic natin is the responsibility of common carriers. Bali sa topic na to, magdi-discuss ako ng ilang articles from Civil Code of the Philippines, and these articles states the responsibility of the common carriers when they are transporting passengers and also goods. So first slide, Article 1733, it states that the common carriers, from the nature of their business and for reasons of public policy, are bound to observe extraordinary diligence in the vigilance over the goods and for the safety of the passengers transported by them according to all the circumstances of each case. Bali sinasabi lang dito na yung mga common carriers such as airline company, bus company, or jeep operators sila ay required na mag-exercise ng extraordinary diligence since ang kanilang tinatransport ay public people and also goods. And kapag sinabi naman nating extraordinary diligence, it states that na yung mga common carriers, they are legally obligated to provide high level of care, attention, and responsibility para ma-ensure yung safety and security ng passengers as well as the goods when they are transported. Tsaka kasi sa pagta-transport ng passengers tsaka ng goods, marami kasing risk na possible na mangyari. And isa sa mga responsibility ng common carriers is to prevent or to mitigate those risk in full extent as much as possible para hindi na mangyari yung loss, damage, or a worse accident. And para ma-prevent yung mga ganong risk, syempre yung mga common carriers, they should implement rigorous safety protocols. Also, dapat regular nilang chine-check yung maintenance ng kanilang mga transportations, and also dapat yung kanilang staff or yung specifically yung kanilang mga drivers, dapat they are well trained, alam nila kung paano mag-drive, they are licensed, kasi kapag hindi, diyan maaring mag-arise yung mga risk or mangyari talaga yung risk. Bali dito hindi ko na babasahin, na-explain ko na lang agad. Bali, etong statement na ito, galing to sa case between the Circus Tours Philippines Incorporation versus Court of Appeals and three respondents. Si Circus Tours Philippines kasi isa siyang bus company, and meron siyang isang passenger na si Fatima, and sumakay siya dun sa isa sa mga bus ng Circus Tours, bali from Manila to Legazpi City or sa Bicol. And si Fatima, meron siyang 3 luggage and ang laman nun is very important kasi andun yung kanyang passport and visa and then yung immigration or green card ng kanyang mother. Also yung optometry review books niya. And then umalis na sila, andun na sila sa Daet, nag-stop over sila. Dito na napansin na open na yung compartment bag nung bus mismo. And then nung chinek nila, napansin nila, bali kasi 3 yung luggage na nandoon na kay Fatima. And then yun nga, nung nag-stop over sila, napansin nila na open na yung compartment bag, nakita nila na isa na lang yung luggage ni Fatima doon. So si Fatima nakiusap sa bus driver na baka pwedeng balikan yung ruta na dinaan nila. Pero yung bus driver, inignore niya lang si Fatima and then nag-proceed lang sa Legazpi. Then after noon, syempre si Fatima pumunta sa police station, humingi ng assistance from different radio stations, also sa Philtranco Bus Company kasi isa rin ang mga Philtranco bus driver sa nakadaan dun sa route na yon. And then after noon, may na-recover naman silang kaso isang bag lang ni Fatima. Then yun nga, nagkaroon sila ng council between Sarkis Tours na yung team na lang ng Sarkis Tours ang maghahanap dun sa luggage na wala. And after 9 months yun, wala pa rin nangyari. Kaya si Fatima, kasama yung kanyang mother and yung kapatid niya, nag-file na lang ng case laban sa Sarkis Tours na ayun nga, bayaran dapat ng Sarkis Tours yung value nung nawalang luggage as well as yung moral fee, litigation fee, and attorney's fee. Bali dun sa case na yon, pinapakita dun na dapat talaga yung mga common carriers, they should always exercise, hindi lang should, dapat talaga, they must exercise extraordinary diligence, hindi lang sa safety ng passengers, pati na rin dun sa goods or sa luggage ng passengers. Syempre, mahalaga rin yung gamit na yun para sa mga passengers. And kahit sabihin natin na hindi naman ginusto ng common carrier na mawala or madamage yung luggage, syempre, still, it's their responsibility pa rin kasi nasa transportation mismo nila yon. Bali, ang liability kasi ng mga common carriers is nagsa-start siya from the moment na yung mga luggage or yung goods ma-receive na ni carrier or ni common carrier and magko-continue yun hanggang sa ma-deliver or mabigay na kay rightful recipient yung luggage or yung goods. And yun nga, dapat lagi nating as a common carrier, we should always provide the high level of care and attention and responsibility doon sa luggage ng mga passengers natin para katulad nito maiwasan yung mga risk and para ma-avoid din yung pagiging liable natin doon sa loss, damages, and sa ayun nga. The next slide. Bali, karugtong lang to ng Article 1733. It says that such extraordinary diligence in the vigilance over the goods is further expressed in Article 1734, 1735, and 1745 number 5, 6, and 7, while the extraordinary diligence for the safety of the passengers is further set forth in Article 1755 and 1756. So, sinasabi lang dito. Bali, karugtong lang to ng Article 1733. Bali, sinasabi lang dito na yung extraordinary diligence pagdating sa mga goods is mababasa natin siya or naka-express siya sa Article 1734, 1735, and 1745 number 5, 6, and 7. And yung extraordinary diligence naman pagdating sa safety ng passengers is naka-express naman sa Article 1755 and 1756. Bali, we will start with the extraordinary diligence in the vigilance over the goods. Well, the next slide. Ayan. Article 1734 states that common carriers are responsible for the loss, destruction, or deterioration of the goods unless the same is due to any of the following causes only. Bali sa article na ito, sinasabi lang dito na yung mga common carriers, they are liable or responsible doon sa pagkawala or sa pagka-damage ng mga goods unless ang reason nito ay ito, number 1, flood, storm, earthquake, lightning, or other natural disaster or calamity. So, magiging mawawala lang yung liability or responsibility ni common carrier sa loss, damage, or deterioration ng goods kung ang dahilan nito ay una, natural disaster. Syempre, ang natural disaster hindi naman natin yan maiiwasan kahit sino sa atin. So, hindi siya controllable or hindi siya nakokontrol ni common carrier. Kaya, pag yun ang cause, kaya nawala or na-damage yung goods, maaari siyang maging hindi liable doon. Then, pangalawa naman, act of the public enemy in war, whether international or civil. Ito naman yung pagkakaroon ng war or military attack. Siyempre, katulad din sa natural disasters, hindi rin ito controllable ni common carrier. Anytime pwede itong mangyari. And as a common carrier, siyempre, it's their responsibility to ensure the security of the goods as well as the safety of the passengers. Pero kung ganyan merong war, syempre hindi naman i-risk ng common carrier yung kanilang life to, yun nga, para mapanindigan pa rin yung extraordinary diligence pagdating sa passenger and sa goods. Then third, act or omission of the shipper or the owner of the goods. Bale, ito naman na example sa mga delivery. Ayan. Kapag si shipper, pag sa kanya yung fault, for example, hindi ganun katibay yung packaging materials na lagay niya, kaya nagkaroon ng damage pagka-transport ni common carrier, hindi na yun liability ni common carrier. Or kaya naman si owner nagkaroon ng hindi niya nasabi agad na, for example, meron palang babasagin dun sa package, pero hindi niya sinabi dun sa common carrier, tapos pagdating dun, nabasag. Pag-deliver kay recipient, nabasag. So, hindi na liable si common carrier. Then, fourth naman is the character of the goods or defects in the packaging or in the container. So, ito naman, kapag pag may sira na talaga dun sa mismong bagay or dun sa mismong package, baga hindi na liable dun si common carrier kapag, ayun nga, nadatnan or nabigay kay recipient na damage na. For example, sa mga perishable goods, kapag before pa mapunta kay common carrier is hindi siya na ref ng maayos or hindi tama yung temperature for perishable goods, then pagdating kay recipient, na siya, spoiled na siya or nasira na, hindi yan liability ni common carrier kasi ang responsibility lang naman niya is i-transport ng maayos yung goods. Then last, if the order or act of competent public authority. Ito naman kapag ang loss or damage ng goods ay galing sa directives ng government. For example, sa customs, pag yung package mo parang kasuspe-suspecha, like ganon, 'di ba? The government have the right to inspect your package. Syempre sa pag-i-inspect talagang may possibility na masira, may ma-damage, and hindi na yun liability ni common carrier. The next slide, Article 1735. In all cases other than those mentioned in number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the preceding article, if the goods are lost, destroyed, or deteriorated, common carriers are presumed to have been at fault or to have acted negligently unless they prove that they observe extraordinary diligence as required in Article 1733. So, sinasabi lang dito na kung yung mga goods ay nasira or nawala due to the causes na hindi naman nakastate dun sa Article 1734 or yung sinabi ko kanina dahil sa natural disasters or war. Syempre, yung mga common carrier, they are presumed or assumed at fault or negligent. And, ito naman, sinasabi lang dito na pine-presume lang naman na sila ay nagkaroon ng fault or negligence. Pero hindi naman sinasabi na talagang nagkaroon sila. Assumption lang. And, may possibility pa rin na mawala yung presumption or assumption na yun kapag napatunayan na talagang nag-exercise sila ng extraordinary diligence pagdating doon sa pag-transport ng mga goods. For example, sa mga fragile items na damage, common carrier is presumed to be at fault. But kung napatunayan nila na naggumamit sila ng mga proper packaging materials and proper din yung kanilang handling procedures, there's a possibility na hindi sila maging liable doon sa damage. Then, next slide, Article 1745. Any of the following or similar stipulations shall be considered unreasonable, unjust, and contrary to public policy. Bali, meron ditong mga clauses or stipulations which is yung 5, 6, and 7. Bali, itong mga clauses na to, or itong mga stipulations na to, hindi sila kinoconsidered sila as unacceptable by law kasi it's against with the principle of fairness, kumbaga unfair siya. Katulad nito, number 5, that the common carrier shall not be responsible for the acts or omission of his or its employees. As a common carrier, syempre they are still liable sa ginagawa ng kanilang employees because employees work behalf of their company. And it's their responsibility na i-supervise sila and i-train sila ng maayos. Kaya pag nagkaroon sila ng negligence and nagkaroon ng effect ito sa sa goods or sa passengers, still the common carrier are still liable. And next, number 6, that the common carrier's liability for acts committed by thieves or of robbers who do not act with grave or irresistible threat, violence, or force is dispensed with or diminished. Bali sinasabi dito na yung mga common carriers daw ay hindi responsible for thefts and robbery. Bali, yun? Unacceptable by law yun. Kasi responsibility ni common carrier na, ayun nga, i-ensure yung safety ng passengers as well as ng goods para ma-prevent yung mga ganitong cases like theft and robberies. The number 7, that the common carrier is not responsible for the loss, destruction, or deterioration of goods on account of the defective condition of the car, vehicle, ship, airplane, or other equipment used in the contract of carriage. Bali sinasabi dito na yung mga common carriers daw ay hindi sila responsible for loss, damage na naggaling sa kanilang equipment or vehicle. Bali, unacceptable by law pa rin siya kasi nga, ayun nga, responsibility ni common carrier na i-maintain yung regular check-up ng kanilang equipment sa pag-transport. For example, yung kanilang vehicle, kailangan magkaroon sila ng regular maintenance dun para hindi maapektuhan yung functionality nito at hindi rin ito makaapekto sa passenger as well as sa goods ng mga recipient. So, sa next slide, ito naman yung extraordinary diligence na required ng law to the common carriers pagdating sa safety ng mga passengers. So, according sa Article 1755, a common carrier is bound to carry the passengers safely as far as human care and foresight can provide, using the utmost diligence of very cautious persons with a due regard for all their circumstances. So, sinasabi lang sa article na ito na yung mga common carrier such as airline company, they have the responsibility to ensure the safety of their passengers. They have to be someone who is very cautious, or the common carriers must employ extreme care and diligence when they are transporting the passengers. And also, kailangan nilang i-consider yung or i-anticipate yung mga risks na maaring mag-arise, and syempre kailangan nila agad mag-provide ng mga safety measures para ma-prevent yung mga risk na yun na mangyari and mag-cause pa ng accident sa mga passengers. For example, dito sa next slide, bali dito yung may isang passenger nag-book siya ng airline or ng ticket sa isang commercial airline for a domestic flight from Manila to Cebu. Then during the flight, nagkaroon ng severe turbulence dahil sa adverse weather conditions. So yung mga passenger na nakaupo sa mga seats, then yung overhead compartment ng airplane is naka-open. Kaya nangyari, since nagkaroon ng turbulence, ang nangyari, nalaglag yung mga luggage sa mga passengers and then nag-cause ito ng injury sa mga passengers. Doon sa part na yun or doon sa scenario na yun, nagkaroon ng failure si airline company sa pag-obey or sa pag-adhere doon sa kanilang obligation na ensure yung safety ng mga passengers. And hindi nila in-anticipate yung maaring maging risks. Like, di ba, merong weather conditions, hindi nila in-assess yung risk na pwedeng mangyari pag nag-transport sila habang merong hindi magandang weather conditions. Then, di sila nag-provide ng warning sa passengers. Na also, hindi nila sinecure yung kanilang overhead compartment. Kaya yung mga luggage na naglag. Sa ganong pangyayari, naging liable pa sila doon sa injury na kuha ng mga passenger. Kaya as common carrier, dapat ini-ensure nila na yung ang mga passengers nila is the moment na tumapak sila dun sa transportation and hanggang sa madala nila dun sa mismong destination, dapat safe sila, wala silang damage. The next slide, Article 1756, in case of death of or injuries to passengers, common carriers are presumed to have been at fault or to have acted negligently unless they prove that they observe extraordinary diligence as prescribed in Article 1733 and 1755. So, sinasabi lang dito na kapag ang mga passengers is na accident or may namatay sa kanila or may na-injury, i-assume or ipe-presume ng korte na yung common carrier ang may fault or may negligence. Bali, presumption lang naman yun or assumption lang. And maari siyang mawala kapag napatunayan ng common carrier na talagang nag-observe or nag-exercise sila ng extraordinary diligence sa pagtatransport ng mga passengers. For example, talagang well-maintained yung kanilang vehicles or yung kanilang mga drivers are well-trained, knowledgeable sa mga safety measures. Sa ganung paraan, maaari silang maging hindi liable or ma-absolve sila sa liability na nangyari or liable sa injury na natamo ng mga passengers. The next slide naman, Article 1757, the responsibility of a common carrier for the safety of passengers as required in Articles 1733 and 1755 cannot be dispensed with or lessened by stipulation, by the posting of notices, by statements on tickets or otherwise. So, sinasabi lang dito na yung responsibility ni common carrier sa pag-ensure ng safety ni passengers is hindi siya pwedeng mabawasan or mawala kahit na maglagay pa sila ng notices, stipulations, or notes doon sa kanilang tickets na hindi sila liable sa ganito, ganyan, pag may nangyaring injury. Ang kanila kasing obligation na i-ensure yung safety ng passenger is legal siya. Kumbaga, kahit naglagay sila ng notice doon sa ticket. For example, sa airline company, naglagay sila ng notice doon sa ticket na hindi sila liable kapag nagkaroon ng injury yung mga passengers. And during flight, nagkaroon ng injury yung mga passengers, still liable pa rin si common carrier kasi nga legal ang kanilang obligation. The next slide natin, babasahin ko, the victim becomes a passenger from the moment he steps on the platform of the bus and entitled to all rights as such, including the observance by the common carrier of extraordinary diligence. So, bali itong statement na ito, galing ulit ito sa isang case, ito naman between Dangwa Trans versus Court of Appeals and other respondents. Bali si Dangwa Trans is isang bus company and meron siyang isang passenger which is si Pedro Conchamat. Then, nung ayun nga, pasakay na si Pedro Conchamat doon sa platform, sa bus. Bali, naka-step na siya or nakatapak na siya dun sa platform ng bus. Ito namang si bus driver, biglang nag-accelerate or biglang umandar. Kaya nangyari, si Pedro na out of balance siya. So, nalaglag siya and after no, nagulungan siya ng bus. Kaya, namatay si Pedro. So, ito namang family ni Pedro, nag-file ng case against Dangwa Trans. And ayun nga, lumabas na liable talaga si Dangwa Trans sa pagkamatay ni Pedro Conchamat. Kasi kahit sabihin natin na hindi pa siya totally nakakasakay or nakakaupo doon sa mismong bus, pero the moment na tumapak na si passenger sa any platform ng bus or ng isang transportation, doon na nag-i-start yung liability or yung obligation ni common carrier na ensure yung safety ni passenger. Then next naman, the relationship ends when the passenger, after reaching the destination, safely alighted and had the reasonable opportunity to leave the common carrier's premises, which includes the time to look for his baggage and claim them. So, ito namang statement na to, galing din do sa isang case between Aboitiz Shipping versus Court of Appeals and other respondent. Bali dito naman kasi, may isang passenger. Bali, ano to? Sa barko naman to. Bali, si Aboitiz Shipping, isa siyang company of mga ship. Then, meron silang isang passenger, si Vina. Bali, na yun, na disembark na sila or nakababa na dun sa mismong barko. Pero kasi napansin ni Vina na meron pa pala siyang naiwang gamit dun sa barko. Kaya ang nangyari, bumalik si Vina sa barko and ayun nga, nagkaroon ng accident kasi naipit during sa pagbalik niya dun sa barko, naipit si Vina between crane and the ship. Kaya namatay si Vina. And sinasabi ng Aboitiz Shipping Company na hindi sila responsible dun kasi nga, or hindi sila liable dun kasi nga nakababa na si Vina. But, hindi yun inaccept ng law. Kasi nga, ang liability ng common carrier, natatapos lang siya kapag nakababa na si passenger and nakuha niya na yung kanyang luggage and nakaalis na siya. Doon na nag-e-end yung kanilang obligation sa passenger. Since si Vina, hindi pa niya nakukuha yung luggage niya, may naiiwan pa siya, and the moment during sa pagkuha niya ng kanyang luggage is na-accident siya, namatay siya. Still, liable pa rin si common carrier or si Aboitiz Shipping. The next line is, ito naman yung extraordinary diligence when it comes to carriage of cargoes. Sinabi dito, it starts from the time the cargo is delivered to the terminal of the bus company and accepted for carriage by the common carrier. So, sinasabi dito na yung obligation ni common carrier dun sa mga safe security ng cargoes is nag-start siya the moment na ma-delivered na siya doon sa mismong terminal ng isang common carrier, for example nga bus company, and in-accept na siya for carriage or for transportation. And then meron silang contract of conveyance between shipper or consignee. Bali, ito yung agreement ng pagta-transport ni common carrier and ma-deliver yung cargo na yun kay consignee or recipient. And yung contract of conveyance na yun, nag-e-end lang yun once na ma-receive na ni recipient or ni consignee yung cargo doon sa destination. Pero kung for example naman is yun nga, nahatid na ni common carrier yung cargo dun sa destination and sabihin natin na hindi tinanggap ni consignee or wala dun si consignee para i-take or kunin yung delivery, yung duty ni common carrier na mag-exercise or mag-observe ng extraordinary diligence to the cargos is unti-unti siyang nababawasan habang tumatagal yung oras or yung days sa pagkuha mismo ni consignee mong cargos. So yun, after ilang days, pag nandun pa rin yung cargo, nababawasan na or nalilesen na yung obligation ni common carrier. Nagiging ordinary diligence na lang. Nagiging nagiging custodian or bailee na lang si common carrier pagdating sa mga cargos. Ang nagiging obligation na lang niya is store ng maayos yung mga cargos.
On to the next one. Liabilities of common carriers for the acts of strangers and co-passengers. Based on Article 1759, common carriers are liable for the death of or injuries to passengers through the negligence of willful acts of the former employees. All through such employees may have acted beyond the scope of their authority or the violation of the order of the common carriers. So, there's a quoted line here or sentence. The liability of the common carriers does not cease upon proof that they exercise the diligence of a good father of a family in the selection and supervision of the employees. And let's move on to another one. The liabilities of common carriers can be enforced of the following causes and actions. of actions. I mean, in case of death injured caused by passenger, the victim may file a case of breach of contract, carriage of culpa contract against the owner of the common carrier, and the liability common carriers can be enforced of the following causes by action. In case of a death or injury caused by a stranger pedestrian, the victim may file the criminal complaint against the driver of the common carrier for reckless imprudence resulting in homicide and damage to property. The victim may also file a civil suit against the common carrier and it's driven on the ground of culpa aquiliana or quasi-delict. And damage recoverable from common carriers. Actual A for the first one, actual or compensatory damage, an adequate compensation for pecuniary loss suffered by a person as he has proven. Example, medicine, hospital bills, and expenses. Sometimes it can be given as cash, something like that. For the next one, moral damage may be awarded when the mishap resulted in the death of the passenger, or when the heirs of the deceased suffered mental anguish, or when the carrier was guilty of the fraud or bad faith, and even if that did not result. So moral damages. The next one, exemplary or corrective damages are imposed by by way of example or correction for the public good, or when the common carrier acted in wanton, reckless, and oppressive manner. For the last one, nominal damage are adjusted in order that a right of a person which has been violated or invaded in the CC may be vindicated or recognized, and not for the purpose of indemnifying such person for any loss suffering by him. So yeah, next.
So elements of common carrier. There are three types of elements of common carrier. There are business of transportation, which is transporting people or goods, and must accept transport for any passenger or cargoes. And for compensation, charging a fee, a common carrier requires a compensation for provide services to customers. And for public service, common carriers have provide services to the general public through advertising or the use of an agent or a salesperson. Characteristics of a common carrier: regarded to some extent as a public servant, since he holds himself out as ready to engage in the transportation of goods for hire as a public employment and not as a casual corporation, he is bound to serve all who apply and is liable for perusal and without sufficient reason to do so. Number 2, cannot lawfully decline to accept a particular class of goods for carrier to the prejudice of the traffic in those goods. So the common carrier can do so where for some sufficient reason the discrimination of such goods is reasonable and necessary under all circumstances of the cases. No monopoly is favored. The fact that the Public Service Commission has previously granted license to any person to operate a bus line over a given highway and refused to grant a similar license to another person over the same highway do not in the least create a monopoly in the person of the license, because at all times the Commission has the power to say what is reasonable rules for the convenience of the traveling public and to enforce them. Number 4, it is also for the public inconvenience. Degree of diligence required to a common carrier. The degree of diligence demanded upon from the common carrier is extraordinary diligence. The nature of business of common carriers and exigencies of public policy demand that they observe extraordinary diligence, that the business of common carrier is impressed with a special public duty and is recognized in the Philippines through laws which subject to the same control and regulation by the Public Service Commission. Period wherein the degree of extraordinary diligence shall end. Article 736 of Civil Code of the Philippines. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko sa according to the Civil Code of the PH, responsable ang common carrier sa goods na dinadala, whether na nasa transit, warehouse, or stock room, hanggang sa makarating sa kanyang destinasyon at hanggang sa makarating sa consumer, kasi doon nila malalaman kung satisfied sila sa goods na pinadala or hindi. For example, yung mga fragile na products na may tatak.
Ayan po, good morning everyone. My name is Christian Michael Gilatada and this is the last part of our transportation law, the regulations of transportation industry. Dito sa Pilipinas, may tinatawag tayong DOTC or Department of Transportation and Communication na kung saan sila yung pinaka-primary policy, planning, programming, regulating, and administrative entity of executive branch of the government. Which means sila yung pinakauna na nakakaalam o makakaalam o ano ba yung sila yung nagpaplano ng mga bagay-bagay patungkol sa ating transportation industry. Technically, sila ay expertise nila ang pagmamando ng mga ganitong bagay. Kagaya na lamang kung ano ba ang magandang sakyan, 'di ba? Modern jeepney and traditional jeepney. Yan, sila yung nagde-decide kung ano ba yung ikakabuti or ikakagaan ng buhay ng ating mga mamamayan. At isa pa, sila ang may direct contact with our executive branch of the government, which is our president. Sila ang directly na nagpapaabot na ito po ay ay kailangan nating palitan, ito po ay kailangan nating dagdagan yung mga safety measures ng ating mga kababayan. So which means lahat ng kanilang binababa ay nanggagaling din sa ating executive branch of the government, which is our president. So technically, lahat ng LTO, LTFRB, and other transportation agencies na meron sa Philippines ay under ng DOTC. At isa na nga riyan ay ang Land Transportation Office or LTO. Etong LTO po ay sila yung mga proper agency na nagko-control ng mga registrations ng ating mga motor vehicles, ayan, as well as the mga license and mga conductors and driver ng ating mga pampublikong transportasyon. So which means ang LTO po ay hindi ka basta-basta makakakuha ng lisensya kung hindi ka dadaan sa LTO. Ayan po. So pangalawa, the Land Transportation and Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB. So dito sila yung nagmamando na kung sakali na may mga revision pagdating sa mga ordinance sa transportation, sila sila yung naka-assign dito. So kagaya na lamang ng pagpapalit ng modern jeepney. So ayan, isa sila sa mga nag-approve ng modern jeepney natin, the LTFRB. So yung mga suspension, ayan, dito papasok sa LTFRB. Next, dako tayo for our water transportation. So kanina, sa land transportation tayo, ngayon sa water naman. So under the water transportation, meron tayong Maritime Industry Authority or MARINA. Ang MARINA ay kinreate noong June 1, 1974 with issuance of Presidential Decree number 474 to integrate the development, promotion, and regulations of the maritime industry in the country. So which means itong MARINA ay napakatagal nang itinayo at sila ay ang focus naman nila ay pagdating sa marine industry sa bansa. So ano bang mga marine? Kagaya ng barko, ayan, cargo, and other water transportation na makikita mo, sila ang nakatoka, ganon. So which means kung kung dito, 'di ba, ay kung sa land transportation merong LTO, LTFRB, pagdating sa dagat may marina naman po. So sorry. So isa ang marina sa nagpro-promote din ng ating maritime industry. So sa kanila din nanggagaling ang mga panibagong amendment or regulation. So under that, ayan, so in our third, the air transportation. Pagdating sa air, meron tayong tinatawag na CAAP or Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. So which means, ayan, no, regulates economy aspect of air transportation. It it has general supervision and control over the air carriers. It fixed and determined rates, fares, and charges of any service in connections with the air commerce. It issues a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity or CPCN. So which means pagdating sa ating air, meron din tayong agency na kung saan nagproprotekta sa ating kaligtasan. So ang CAAP, sila naman yung nakatoka pagdating sa mga airlines na mga policies, ayan, mga charges, mga taxes na nakikita nyo kapag bumibili tayo ng mga tickets. And of course, sila din yung nagdetermine ng mga rates na so which means, 'di ba, kung mahal ang rates natin, ay sila din nakabase sa kanila yung rates, charges, or fare charges na meron sa ating airline. And next, we have Air Transportation Office. It is responsible for the technical and operational phase of a civil aviation matter. It investigates accident involvement, aircraft, and reports to the CAB. So which means sa air, meron tayong tinatawag na ATO na kung saan sila yung nakatoka naman to investigate if may mga accidenting involving the aircrafts. And of course, to report, 'di ba, to the CAB, 'di ba? Ito yung group na kapag may mga issues or may mga accidents nga, sila naman yung ibang department or ibang agency ang naka-hold dito, hindi lang CAAP. Ayan. Next, we have the Civil Aeronautics Board or CAB. Ayan, regulates the economic aspect of air transportation, and it has general supervisions and regulations of and jurisdictions and control over air carrier as well as their property, rights, equipment, facilities, and franchises. So which means dito sila ang nakatoka to regulate the economic aspect, 'di ba, sa air transportation. So binabantayan nila ang demand pagdating sa ekonomiya ng air transportations natin. And of course, sila din ang general supervision. Pag sinabing general supervision, all over the aspect ay chine-check nila or naka-assign sa kanila, as well the regulations, 'di ba, and jurisdictions and control over air carriers. So which means lahat ng pangyayari sa pagdating sa air transportation natin ay alam nila, 'di ba? Ayan, pagdating sa ating Tourist Act of 2009, Republic Act number 9593, the primary tourism enterprises shall be periodically required to obtain accreditation from the DOT as to the quality of their facilities and standard of service. The tourist transport service, whether for land, sea, and air transport, exclusively or majority of its seats for tourism use, including airports taxes and tourist driver are already classified as a primary tourist enterprises. Hence, accreditation by the Department of Tourism is now mandatory. So which means ang Tourist Act of 2019 ay ito yung nagproprotekta sa ating mga turista na kung saan lahat ng mga sinasakyan natin o lahat ng sinasakyan natin ng mga transportation pagdating sa Pilipinas ay regulated or kailangan nila mag-register sa DOT para sa ating kaligtasan ng ating mga turista. Lahat ng klaseng transportation ay mandatory ang pagre-register sa DOT. Ayan. Next is the Seatbelt Law or the Republic Act number 8750 was enacted to secure the safeguard its citizenry, particularly the passenger and the drivers of a private and a public motor vehicles from the revenues and extremely injurious effect of vehicular accidents. So which means, di ba, ito ay parang kawapasa lang within 2016 or 2018, kakapasa lang ng seatbelt law na kung saan kailangan naka-seatbelt ka, 'di ba? Pagdating sa mga sasakyan, 'di ba? Kailangan kasi pag may mga accident, 'di ba? Ito yung nagproprotekta. The reason kung bakit may batas na ito para of course protectionan ang ating mga drivers as well the passengers sa accident, 'di ba? Kaya kasi pag naka-seatbelt ka, mas safe pag halimbawa nabangga ka, mas safe yung naka-seatbelt ka kaysa sa hindi. Mas maraming damage or injuries yung mafe-feel mo kapag hindi ka naka-seatbelt. So, this law, it's very useful sa ating dito sa Philippines. And ayan, that's all. This is the last part of our reports and hope you learned a lot from us. Thank you po.